Good morning, everybody, and have a great Sunday. I guess it's still morning. This changing of the time has me all screwed up. It will for a while. Has amazingly, amazingly, my dog sprung ahead, and I looked at the clock this morning. It was about 6 o'clock. It's a digital clock, and the dogs were getting me up to be fed and to be let out. And I thought that's normal. About 6 o'clock is when they do that. And so I fed them and let them out and all that. And then I realized it was really 5 o'clock. Um, they should think, anyway, it was 5 o'clock, but their internal clocks had somehow changed time along with the the time change that took place. So they've already moved. They've already sprung forward. So good for them. Um, I had a couple quick thoughts this morning. I think what's making most of us so anxious and nervous about this administration is the fact that they seem to be bypassing all the normal processes and protocols and just the way the system is supposed to work. We have Donald Trump using executive orders now to really rule the country like a dictator. There's no regard at all for Congress or the courts. He just issues an order, and boom, like that, a department is no longer functional, or boom, like that, these people aren't getting paid. And that's not how the system's supposed to work. That's what's scariest to me. I made comments on here about uh, let's not freak out about Social Security, and we really shouldn't under normal circumstances. But the wild card is always that Donald Trump, at any moment, with the help of Elon Musk, could just decide that this month that Social Security checks don't need to go out. And apparently, the way he's being allowed to operate right now, that would happen. That shouldn't happen. It's not supposed to be able to happen. Social Security is a mandatory expense for government to pay every month, and the only way that's supposed to be able to be changed is by an act of Congress, by different laws being passed. And, and even those laws could be challenged in court. That's not how it's working right now. Right now, this government is by and large operating as a dictatorship. And that's the wild card. That's the unknown. That's the thing that keeps me up at nights, and I think keeps a lot of you up at nights too. Funny thing I've been able to find out is executive orders are never mentioned in the Constitution. It's not some constitutional right that was given to the president. What is mentioned is that the president obviously he's chief executive of the executive branch of government. And he can, by and large, run the executive branch like a CIO. He's allowed to give directives and orders about how the various departments under him operate, and all of that is a given. But I don't. We live in a democracy, and I think what's being missed here is I don't think executive orders, which is basically this concept, this thing that has been created by deriving his ability, his acknowledged constitutional authority to run the executive department into this thing now called executive orders. But I don't think executive orders were ever meant to nullify acts of Congress or to ignore laws that have been passed. And that it seems to be what is happening. When you fire everybody in a particular department, like the National Park Service, when you fire everybody there, you've essentially eliminated that agency and that department. I mean, you might say it still exists on paper, but if there's no one there to carry out its duties, you've eliminated it. I don't think that's how this is supposed to work. The same with that USAID agency. Well, if you get rid of everybody, if you freeze their funding, you've eliminated a department that was, or an agency that was created by Congress. I don't think that's how executive orders are supposed to work. And I'll give Trump, won't put all the blame on Trump. We've been allowing presidents to do this for some time now. And now with Trump, who has every intention of being a dictator, he's taking this to the extreme as to become a dictator. It's just like I lose my liberal friends in an argument on gun control, because I don't think, and many of them disagree with me, I don't think a president has the authority to make assault weapons illegal. I don't think he has that authority. I think that has to be done through Congress. I think laws have to be passed. And right now, we have a Second Amendment, and it's in the Constitution. It's very open to interpretation, although people on the right don't want you to believe that. I believe the Second Amendment was written for militias, and it was written at a time when we didn't have a standing army, and it was written at a time when bearing arms meant carrying muskets. So I have a different interpretation of the Second Amendment, but I also concede that it was written in a way that is open to interpretation, and people can interpret the way it was written as that every person in this country has a right to bear arms and to own weapons. So, given that, I think that the only way that should be legally modified is through an act of Congress. So that applies to what I'm saying about executive orders. I don't think the president has the authority to just nullify whole departments, or being able to do something like saying, don't pay elderly people their Social Security this month. Don't pay it. I don't think he has that authority. And right now, he apparently does. And that's what really makes me nervous about this president, this presidency, and this administration, and what's being allowed to take place. And I don't know how to tell Congress to take back their authority. Right now, everyone seems to be just doing what they're told to do. There doesn't seem to be anybody in the administration that's willing to say, no, you're not firing all these people. This department has been approved by Congress. Something like the Department of Education, which is next on its list. No, you don't have the right to just get rid of a department. It was a department that was created by Congress. But then, even if he's granted that in court, even if Congress can get that through the courts to agree with them, he'll just fire everybody in it. He'll say, well, I'm in the executive. I can hire and fire people who I want. And so I'll just hire people that want to abolish the department and just work at destroying it. That should be, in my mind, should be against the law. So that's just some thoughts of one of the problems. We really need to get our arms around this whole concept of executive orders and what executive orders are allowed to do and not to do. Because right now it's just wide open, and it's being interpreted as the president can tell these departments, don't don't send any funds to the Ukraine, don't fund certain agencies that I don't like, fire everybody over here so this department can't function anymore. Those aren't things that I think executive orders ever were envisioned to be used for, and they are. And that needs to stop. How it needs to stop, I don't know. So I'll go back to my comment about Social Security once again, because so many people worry about that, like myself. I think under normal circumstances, I have to qualify what I say. I think under normal circumstances, we wouldn't have anything to worry about with Social Security. But as far as what we're getting now, I think the laws would need to be changed. That's going to take time. I think there will be things that even have to go through the court system to change it. That will take time. But right now, the things that take time, and that's the problem. And they're allowing a president to just issue executive orders and make immediate changes to the system and not have to go through any normal process. That puts Social Security in peril. So when you hear, him firing, what if he gets up tomorrow and he fires 80% of the workforce for Social Security? Well, obviously that's going to affect people being able to get their benefits. So that's the problem we're facing, and that's the problem I feel that Congress needs to address. That's all I really have to say today. Just want to get a brief message out there of what my concerns are on this beautiful Sunday here in Louisville. I've been experiencing, and to be honest with you all, I've been experiencing a little burnout. I've been unsubscribing to a lot of the different news and blogs and Substack articles and so forth I've been getting. It's just become too much for me. I'm being overwhelmed with all of it. I'll get out on, the AP and different pages on the internet, news sources, and look and see what the headlines are. But it's all just become too much for me. We have a administration now that needs to go. How much more do I need to know about it than I already know? That they're corrupt, they're scamming the American public, they're enriching themselves, and they aren't going to do a damn thing for us. I don't know if I need to be told that 40 or 50 times a day. I don't think I do. So, and that's why anytime I put out these chats, it's really to introduce sort of a new, something that isn't being discussed or maybe isn't being thought about. And I don't want to keep beating a dead horse about, this is being done and that's being done. So I'm probably going to be limiting my time on social media a lot more than just giving, and just giving little video chats once in a while and posting now and then, because we have spring coming up and summer coming up, and what they're going to do, unfortunately, is what they're going to do. I've already let my senators and congressmen know that as soon as they touch my Social Security, I will be at their door, and I will. I will get in my Explorer, and I will drive to Washington, D.C., and I will be at their door. There's no doubt in my mind about that. So they know what's going to happen, and I'm not the only one that will be doing that. So just stay active out there in your resistance. Speak out, keep speaking out, and let's all stick together. Let's keep our little community tight and support one another, and just hang in there. And it's rough and rocky road ahead. So have a great Sunday, everybody, and let's have a great spring that's coming up and enjoy things, plant our little gardens, do our little things. So hang in there, take care, talk to you later.